Do I have any comments from the public? Okay. Any comments from my directors? Great. Are there any adjustments this month?
Nothing this much.
Oh, I love hearing that. Okay, our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda or are there changes?
Just questions, couple of questions. On page, what's that, 5? Press. Eric Maureen can help. On the sewer revenue, is that really coming from more winter, higher winter averaging? Or is it just people flushing more? I mean, I can't figure out what.
You mean a 1% over?
No, the 15% sewer revenue
15% year to date.
year to date.
Likely it's from pumpages over the summer.
But isn't sewer based on the 3-month winter average?
Yeah, it would be reset maybe in March.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just wondered, that was all. And the other one is coming down to expenses. Miscellaneous is a very interesting item to have. But we had $18 in the budget. We got quite a chunk of money that's been expended. I just wondered what miscellaneous was.
Well, there's another miscellaneous thing looking at lower. We've got 2 lines.
We have two miscellaneous lines.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, the 635300018.
We build back. Did put some things in miscellaneous that normally wouldn't have been, that. When we find out exactly what they were.
Well, we don't need to hold up the meeting. It's just that, I mean, I'm,
Yeah, it was non-budgeted.
okay,
It was non-budgeted.
Okay.
So we just didn't have miscellaneous.
okay. So,
Anything else?
no. I move to approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Move on along here. I don't know why item 11's on here because we don't really have anything.
For each month.
Yes,
She said she's leaving it alone.
Just defer.
Item 12, receive the regular monthly SJRA Woodlands Division report, including any updates on operations, projects, and public outreach.
I got nothing to add.
Okay,
According to your packet, and it's all there that you have questions.
questions? Comment?
I do have a question. On page 20, the monthly water loss numbers, how do we, I know there's probably with some flushing activities, there's meters on the line, so you know how many gallons. Are the other numbers where there are breaks, are they estimates, or how's that calculated?
Under fixed, this is entirely estimated based on it's either the pressure in the line, the size of the crack, the hole of the crack, and the duration.
Okay.
So it's crack durations.
Best estimate.
It is. It's actually something that I think the EPA puts out called a leak estimator or something like that.
Okay,
And so we just fill in the data and it pops out.
okay, thanks.
Item 13, discuss potential funding alternatives related to the SJRA Woodlands Division proposed infrastructure projects.
Yes, that was a line item from last month. We kept it on there. It's been a month since the presentations. So I received a few comments here and there from various directors, but nothing significant to change or address. So no action to be taken today. If there's further discussion, questions, happy to have it, but that's what we kept them on.
Estimate the next steps on this.
Next item on the agenda, we'll have more further discussion on that.
Which is to consider an act on a supplemental agreement with the SJRA for engineering of wastewater reclamation facility number 2.
Should be number 1.
Yeah, number one.
Okay,
Number uno.
So this is the supplemental agreement that the River Authority had originally provided back in January. They had initially asked for a vote in March. We were presenting the funding alternatives for the entire package of projects, if they were all needed to be done in say a 5-year period, determine how much particular projects cost when things such as the AC water lines need to be done. But if they all needed to be done in a fairly short period of time, what would that look like cost wise? So that was last month. So we didn't have it on the agenda last month. So it's on the agenda this month. What I've told the other boards, way back up. So the purpose of this bond issue, it's a bond issue not to exceed $40 million issued by the River Authority, funded by water and sewer revenues that they receive from member districts. Bond issue not to exceed $40 million over a 30-year term. And the agreement allows for capitalized interest not to exceed 2 years. And this is for the design, engineering, et cetera, of the new wastewater treatment plant, not actual construction costs. So a couple things there. One, there's a lot of talk about the wide range of the estimated cost of a new plant, somewhere between 200 up to around 400 or so, rough numbers. People say, well, I'd really like to have that more detailed, and the response from the River Authority is until we design and engineer it, we can't do that. So this first tranche, as we've referred to this bond issue, would provide the funding necessary for the River Authority to go out, get requests for qualifications, engage engineers to do the work to narrow the band of cost estimate for the new wastewater treatment plant. Also, in this round of meetings, there's been a couple of questions about, well, in the stakeholder group, there's a decision early on to go with the MBR technology, and I'm not going to get into too much detail because it gets beyond my level of expertise on treatment, but the decision to go with MBR, new technology, as opposed to conventional. A couple of questions about, well, should we revisit that decision point, even if we're going with a new plant, because costs have gone up so much? River Authority has said, yes, during the process of design and engineering, that can be looked at, if desired by the MUDs, to see if maybe it could still be cheaper or a better solution to have conventional treatment on a new plant. So that's still out there. The 2 years of capitalized interest, the River Authority has said that they plan to utilize that full 2 years in the bond issue so that the MUDs have a longer runway to make a decision about how they want to pay for this first tranche and future tranches of bonds for the wastewater treatment plant. So referring back to last month's discussion, we talked about the possibility of doing a rollback tax election. It probably wouldn't happen before next fall. Doing a flat fee that was different for residential or commercial users, or of course the pass through on the retail rates. You would have some time, 2 years from the time the bonds were issued, to be able to make that decision and start to generate that revenue before the debt service from this first tranche showed up in your wholesale rates. So it's not like the bonds are issued and all of a sudden you get a wholesale rate increase. You've got 2 years of runway to be able to decide how you as a MUD want to pay for that incremental amount of additional wholesale rate. So those are a couple of big things to point out. The other thing I've told districts, directors up to this point is, in order to be in a position to consider to move forward on the supplemental agreement, you have to have made the decision at the point of, do we need a new plant, or should we still be evaluating replacement or repair of components of the existing plant and try to buy a few years? If you come to that conclusion that a new plant is necessary, yes, you can look at conventional technology or MBR, but a new plant is necessary. Replacing components is not the solution. If you cross that threshold, then you're in a position to consider voting on this supplemental amendment. If you are not past that threshold and you are still wondering about, well, should we do replacement or repair of existing components and try to bounce along for a while, then you need to defer action on this this supplemental agreement. So with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to y'all, and I'll speak.
This is all I have to say. the amount of white in here, about the 42 categories of for unit process and estimated remaining useful life, not meeting permitted average day or recommended peak flow capacity, and non-compliance with code or other issues. I get 38% of white boxes filled in. So I've asked this question before, is that a passing grade for a wastewater treatment plant? I mean, is it? No one wants to commit?
It is not.
It's not.
There, yeah, so you're in agreement.
We already agreed.
Okay, there you
I
go.
kind of thought that was a rhetorical question, sorry.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to follow the logic laid out by our learned counsel here. So we've made an assessment, I believe, based on properly conducted engineering studies. We've got it signed and sealed and stamped. That I think we need to
Let's see, make a motion to proceed.
act on proceeding
All right.
with the supplemental agreement, in my view.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
I'll second.
Second, any discussion?
We all second.
I'm sorry.
I didn't want to jump on a second,
Okay.
but I'll second.
Okay,
Okay,
all those in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Okay. You got your marching orders. Okay, our attorney's report.
Two items there today, a little bit of good news, a little bit of news. Good news first. You may have seen the Supreme Court decision between on the lawsuit between the River Authority and Conroe, and good result for the River Authority. You know, believe it or not, after all this time, that was just on procedural issues. That is not on the merits. So that was all about whether or not the River Authority could sue the cities, or whether the cities had governmental immunity. So now that the Supreme Court has ruled on that, which all of us law geeks will probably be referring to that case for a while, because it made some, you know, a lot of good points as to governmental immunity that we'll probably be referring to for a long time. But now the case has remanded back to the trial court to be heard on the merits. Fool's errand to say how long that's going to take, but that's where it stands now. So good news is that piece has been determined. Now it's back to the trial court for decision on the merits. Chris has mentioned that right now the tally on short pay by the two cities and penalties and interest is now up over 25 million. And attorney's fees related to it for the litigators is over 8 million. To put that in perspective, the amount that was recovered back from Quadvest and the other private utility was 14 million. So we're talking about double that number. Over double. So that's the good news.
Bless you.
So this is remanded back to
Montgomery
the,
County Trial Court.
so the money meter keeps ticking
Oh, yeah.
all this time.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So it continues
I
to.
mean, if this carries on much longer, I'm wondering, will the cities have the wherewithal to, you know, maybe they go get a collection tin on the corner. I don't know. I don't know. Wow. Okay. Wow.
The penalties and interest keep adding on to.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Miracle compounding.
Yep.
25 million. That's okay. Thank you, Brian.
Other item, you may have heard in the news last week that the EPA issued final regulations on PFAS chemicals. So, you know, good that they're testing them, not good that there's not going to be enough funding to provide relief for everybody who's going to have to treat it. Some of the news reports have indicated it could be $1.5 billion a year or more for testing and treatment nationwide. I think there may have been some talk about the administration making available maybe $1 billion from some of the previously approved legislation. But that's, you know, if it's $1.5 billion a year.
Right there. Well, you know what? It all adds up.
Yeah.
So it's a phased implementation. So in 2 years, testing requirements will start at 27. That's just 3 years. There's your lawyer joke for the day.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah.
right up for you.
Yeah, yeah.
So the testing will start in 27, enforcement in 29. And we're digging into it some more, and I'm sure we'll have more discussions about it as we go on. But that's all I have on the attorney's report. Only one lawyer joke. I think that was enough.
Well, hey,
Hey,
Do you
That's
see
the
that being a
problem.
potential issue within Montgomery County?
So far, we talked about this in some of the other meetings. You know, I'll get out of my depth on this pretty quick too, but I think there's over 200 of these PFAS chemicals. Only 6 of them are being regulated at this point. The Woodlands Water, as well as the River Authority, has done some testing on some number of PFAS. I don't know if it's all or some of the 6 or none of the 6, but so far, both in the water distribution system of Woodlands Water, at the GRP plant, and at the Woodlands wastewater treatment plant discharge, there have not been any elevated levels of PFAS of what they've tested. So that's good, but I can't speak as to whether it's all or some of the ones that are going to be regulated. But so far, so good from what we're told.
Thank you.
Here's my report. Thank you.
Item 16, consider and act upon an updated drought contingency plan and the water conservation policy and authorize adoption of the resolution regarding review of same.
Yes, you have a drought contingency plan or conservation plan in place. It was last submitted in 2019. It's required to be updated, refreshed, looked at every 5 years. So it's due to be modified or reviewed and resubmitted as of May 1. And so we've been going through that, working with SJRA and our consultant to help us go through that. No changes, significant changes to the drought contingency plan, no trigger change, anything like that. There were some changes to the water conservation plan. If you recall, in 2019, the AMI meters didn't exist yet.
Mhm.
And so we've modified that in the water conservation plan. We've also added in all of the public outreach related to water conservation that we've done over the last few years. So those are the big changes to the water conservation plan. So we need a motion to submit that as of May 1, prior to May 1.
I so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 17, discuss the GRP surplus refund to the MUDs.
All right, page 42. I'll get to here in a second. SJRA, the GRP committee made recommendation and approved the recommendation to utilize the surplus funds from not only the drought, but also from the Quadvest monies. Subsequently, the board of directors or SJRA approved the recommendation, which included moving 14 million of the surplus to buy down debt for the GRP. That would result in about a 3-cent reduction in the wholesale water rates that you see come to us. And then an additional 12 million was identified to be credited or refunded back to the GRP participants. And so that's where page 42 comes into play. Your share of, you can see what the Woodlands MUDs would receive from the 12 million. I think there's 80 participants in the GRP. Your share would be about 180, just over 183,000. So that would come into your general operating accounts. We have the credit memo from SJRA. We'll be processing that in your April financials. So you'll see it next month. And that's all.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you. The general manager's report.
Right. Just a couple minor things in your packet. There's a couple customer thank yous that we included that we've received. Wanted to point out the township proclamation, March 27th, Bruce Cunningham Day. I thought that was very nice for them to do. Wanted to update everyone that this Thursday, tomorrow evening, will be the AWD Spring Seminar. Speaker is Mike Turco, General Manager of Harris Galveston Science District. Should be a good presentation. I think myself, Shelley, and a handful of directors are going. So that we'll report back. Our understanding is they should provide the the presentation afterwards. So we should be able to get that in the weeks to come. So we can share that too, once we see it.
Say, I asked about carpooling or some kind of travel arrangements down to the west.
You're in.
Huh?
You're in.
You're in what?
The carpool.
You're approved.
We have a van.
As a driver.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, not a problem. I can take 4 in style, 3 in style.
Yeah.
Not 4.
No, we were gonna, yeah, there's a couple carpools going. We didn't quite have enough to.
Get a van.
Yeah,
Okay.
we were close, but a couple are gonna go one way and another way, and I'll drive the rest.
Okay.
So you're covered.
Okay.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You need a place and time?
You don't have to.
Oh, no. No.
I was sensing some reluctance there, so I'm trying to figure that out.
It's such a thrill being on Houston Freeway.
Yes.
At that time of day. Yeah. Wouldn't miss it for the world. No.
Wanted to give you some updates on the, some building improvements. We did finish the roof replacement. So that's good. We did have, from last week's storm, we did have some pretty extensive water intrusion into the building, not from the new roof. The old leaks from the roof did not leak. That's good. But we had some issues with the balcony, so we're going to need to deal with those improvements. We wanted to, fix some of the sheetrock and some of the other things that were already there. That got worse. We can't do that until we fix the other issues. So we'll be working on that. Wanted to point out our new map. It's something that you'll start to see some different looks around the office. We're going to be doing some improvements to kind of the common and community areas or public areas of the office. And one of the things that we wanted to try out was this new look. You can see the old look over here still on behind Adam and Brian. There's the new look. That is a dry erase style, so we can write on that and probably see more of that around the office as we kind of do some improvements. So turned out nice.
Yeah.
And with that, John is not here, so if he comes, he had a very short, update on the elections. There's information that was sent out on where the early voting dates, basically the facts, early voting dates and direction to the county website for more information on that. I think he was reporting on, I spoke at George's Coffee last month. I'll be speaking, have a couple other speaking engagements this next month. That's in the packet, by the way. And that's all we had.
A question for you or Mike as it relates to MUD 6, the sanitary sewer evaluation and manhole inspection. Is that a month-by-month schedule, or is this aging infrastructure replace and repair coming to an end? Do you know what the schedule is like?
This is the year one work. We did this job back in September. Remember that? Took a while to get started. They did get started. The time has been extended by about 22 days. They're getting close to the year one completion. Year two has not been bid yet. It's been designed, so we're doing it. It has not been bid, but it'll be there'll be some more work for you, but it's moving west now, moving into the 60s. Some of the others can move it further west that have some issues. You'll have a little bit more, some around Metro will have some more. MUD 6 had kind of the brunt of it this year one.
Yeah, all the addresses there were.
Yeah.
And the process is evaluation, bid it, construction. And so of phase one, we're in the construction piece. We're in just finished the evaluation of the phase two of the next phase, as Mike said. And then that will need to then go to bid and construction. And we'll work that into your budget this next year.
What's being done this year is coming to an end relatively soon.
It
It
seems
seems for next year's project. Okay.
So we're
You
pretty much,
had to piece it out a little bit.
yeah, so we're underspent then with regard to the budget. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Oh, no, but next year.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, trustees report.
Okay, yeah, so it was an innocent trustee meeting. Just wanted to make a note, it's, when we get to the SGRA, the Wilderness Vision Report, that number should be 12 million. It showed as 14, so that can be fixed in, I guess, the trustee minutes. And there was extensive discussion regarding the wastewater strategic plan has been alluded to. And I'll see next month what some of the cost estimation looks like. Get some granularity around that. And hopefully we'll come back in May at our meeting with that information. And that's all I have right now.
Thank you. No need to reset. Okay. Any matters for next month's agenda? Okay. Meeting adjourned. Wow.